All right. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact, and I got the Badboyz here with me. Sin City Steve, Simon Street, Matt Michaels. How are you fellas doing? It is yes. Great to see you all. All right. I know everyone is logging in, hopefully, or logging on, I should say. If you're watching us from Facebook Live, make sure to throw all your comments in. We want to be able to get them on as we see fit. And we thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Let's get right into it, guys. WWE Raw and SmackDown, they continue the draft. They also did the King of the Ring tournament, the Queen of the Ring tournament. Lots of things was going on. I said it last week, and I'll say it this week as well. I thought Raw was a lot more entertaining. I enjoyed it. Has it been what it has been? And I would say at least 3 to 4 weeks ago. I did enjoy last week. I enjoyed this week. But what's you guys' take on it? What do you think of the show this past week?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Didn't they the King of the Ring start on SmackDown, not Raw?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I was making sure I heard correctly. Raw was bearable. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was bearable. And I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit harsh on it, but we always are harsh on Raw.
Yeah.
SmackDown, different story. Obviously, as you stated, Queen's Crown, and with regards to King of the Ring, I'll just say one thing, and then I'll let you guys pass on to it. As far as the Queen's Crown, I was excited for that, but so far the first round, Toni Storm, Zelina Vega, I was not expecting Zelina Vega to go over on that one at all. I think a lot of people may have thought that as well. And then Carmella, what the heck is going on? Other than the echo in the background, obviously my voice is omnipotent. Anyways, and then with regards to the King of the Ring matches was good too, but I'll let you guys talk about that.
Wonderful. That's the best thing on a talk show is, I'll let you guys talk instead.
Well, because I didn't want to take over both of them, but the one thing that stood out to me obviously was Queen's Crown. Zelina Vega, Carmella, first round. What the hell? That's disappointing.
Yeah, there's nothing else that can be said about that. What the fuck is what it comes down to, because you had what looked like the Carmella Liv Morgan would have probably been. I personally would have gone maybe Liv Morgan, because we saw that second. So the first match was Zelina. Toni Storm losing to Zelina, I don't know. That makes whatever sense.
Maybe it's her time.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, because maybe they realized they hired her back for no reason. But the truth of the matter is that the only thing that makes sense in that block is the fact that Zelina and Carmella have had the interactions with each other regarding the last, feud that was going on before Becky came back, leading into SummerSlam. So maybe that remnants is there. We'll probably hear about that this week when they meet, but because you got to look on the other side of the bracket. And this week on Raw, they set up Shayna and Doudrop. And Doudrop's on the top of the bracket, and Shayna's on the bottom of the bracket in that side. So most likely, those two are going to meet in the next round. If those two meet, then what do? Because you either have Shayna, who you're making a badass again, beat Doudrop, which takes down Doudrop's value, or you have Doudrop go over, which takes down Shayna's value, and either one of them going against Carmella or Zelina makes no fucking sense, because you have two people on that side who are tough and bigger, and then you have tiny and Miss Melty plastic tits.
Well said.
I like the nickname that you gave to Carmella. That was great.
Just don't tell Corey.
Right, exactly.
He knows he probably paid for him.
No.
Vince paid for those.
Vince pays for all the boobs.
Well, Vince pays for what he wants to play with. I get it.
But that is something that's leaving fans and critics already kind of fucking scratching their head. The one point that I saw on those two matches for Liv and Carmella and Zelina and Tony is both matches were approximately under 4 minutes. So
Yeah.
there's your
Yeah.
Queen of the Rings.
They combined they were 4 minutes. Both of the matches. It was like one match was 2 minutes, another match was 1:50. And yeah, there was tons of outrage on Twitter about that. People just saying how, it feels like as if they almost took a step backwards, because that's the amount of time that they would get when they were doing like bra and panty matches and serving as the piss break.
But the question is, Zelina and Carmella, do they merit anything more than bra and panty matches? That's what I don't like.
Why are you guys thinking that they're going to win this? Because it's not coming. They're just fighting in a competition. They're not going to be the ones that's going to come out on top.
Can I ask
Shayna
this
should
question?
win it.
Shayna will win it. Shayna will win it.
Exactly. So who cares then between the two?
I
don't
care.
know.
I care. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the draft, there are a couple of names on the women's side that actually came through that they could have featured there. One in particular is Xia Li. They could have easily put Xia Li in one of these first rounds. That would have been interesting. And I'm saying it on this side of the bracket that we're seeing, because on the other side,
she's not part of the roster yet.
yeah,
That's
you're
the
right. After
problem.
Crown Jewel, oh, that sucks
2
so
weeks.
bad.
Yeah.
You're right. That was that one caveat. Yeah.
Yep.
But you know what? I will say this. I will say this, and then I'll shut up about this. What if you look at the Queen's Crown and Dewdrop wins it all? And then you have the men's, and let's just say for shits and giggles, we have Jinder Mahal win the whole thing. How cool would that be to see Jinder Mahal on one crown and then Dewdrop on the other crown? And are they going to have the king and queen interact moving forward? Because that shit would be hilarious.
I think you're absolutely spot on Jinder. I think Jinder's winning it. Cesaro's elimination was the biggest fuck up that they did in this whole thing. Fucking stupid. Finn Balor doesn't need to fucking go on and do any more of this tournament, but most likely they're going to have Jinder go over on Finn. That way it makes Jinder credible, and they're not going to be on the same show. I'm telling you, I fucking hate this, but I got a feeling Carmella is going to be the queen.
Yep. That was exactly what I was thinking too. Shayna should win, but Carmella will. Unfortunately, I mean, they're doing so much with, bringing out the new mask and making such a big deal about it. And typically whenever they give somebody a wardrobe change or, anything of that nature, then they're going to be taking a different path with that character in some way, shape, or form. I definitely had that pegged right from the beginning. Now you had mentioned, obviously Balor had no need to win that match, which I totally agree on that, Matt. I think that it's going to be Balor in the finals, as you were mentioning, because let's be real, Sami Zayn is not going to make the trip to Crown Jewel.
And that was pointed out. I totally agree. That's the first thing that went through probably 60-70% of wrestling fans' heads is, okay, that's a no-brainer. The only thing that happens is if by some chance he has agreed, but I just do not see morally him doing it. So I think that Sammy gets put in his place by Finn. That's
Yeah.
why you have him going against Finn. And then I really do think Jinder. I wanted to see Jinder versus Cesaro because then it would have been either one.
You don't think that we'll get a match that, quite frankly, we never will get otherwise on the other side of the bracket? I was thinking Xavier and Kofi.
That's what I was thinking too.
That's what I'm thinking. And then they actually do, and they do pull the trigger on Xavier Woods winning the King. I could see them doing that.
I would be cool with Xavier being King.
There was so much backlash again on social media for Xavier Woods to just outright win the tournament that it wouldn't surprise me if they had somebody else in mind for it, and if they're going to make that change. Because keep in mind, you know, they've made great strides for everybody else in the New Day except for Xavier Woods. And we've said it on this show numerous times. Where does Xavier Woods fit in the grand scheme of things? And, you know, this would definitely be one way of giving him, you know, a good spotlight, and it would definitely increase his credibility and possibly set a new gimmick path for him.
You know, it's, go ahead, Simon.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I agree with you with regards to Xavier Woods, if he did win King of the Ring. And immediately when you said that, I thought of who would be entertaining going forward. Because when you win the King of the Ring, you got to keep that shit up, unless you're Corbin for like 2-3 years. I guess he was King of the Ring. But I think of who would give us what we all loved in King Booker. I felt like he was the best King of the Ring as far as with that type of format. I think Xavier could do an excellent job with keeping that format. You don't think so? You don't think he's entertaining? I mean, as long as he didn't have a squirt gun like he did.
No, not entertaining. But you brought up King Booker.
Mm-hmm.
Heel. Baron Corbin. Heel. The gist of this is, listen, I'm saying Carmella and Jinder because they're both heels. However, if you're going to go one and the other, I think that Doudrop becomes your face as the queen if you need a face. But I think that Jinder as a heel, as the king, makes absolutely 100% sense with the fact that he's got Shanky and Shifty or whoever fucking with him.
Well, actually, based on the draft, he only has one minion.
Okay, well, Shanky, I think, is the only one over.
Yeah. He's there with Shanky. Veer is, for some reason, they split him off from the two of them and put him on an island unto himself, if you will.
Veer is a lot better than Shanky, unless they just cut them all together. I don't know.
Veer can team with T-Bar now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because he doesn't have nobody, as they talked about on SmackDown.
Oh, man.
That's awesome, guys. What do you think about Robert Roode being called Big Bob?
Sounds straight like a porn star name. And you know what's funny? Dolph Ziggler coming in with the facts, not gonna lie. He was spitting some facts, not gonna lie. I immediately thought of the Drake song, You Could Thank Me Now. The whole time. Now, if you've heard that song, you know, he keeps saying, You could thank me now, and like throughout the whole song. But that's what I thought about. I thought it was a cute segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about that. If we're just picking out highlights, that was definitely a missable thing. Like,
it wasn't. It was cute. There was somebody else that watched it, Michaels, and thought it was cool too.
Yeah, the WWE Mark, who doesn't even know that things are still written and predicted outcomes happen, and you know.
You're right. So Impact, you enjoyed it as well, didn't you?
I enjoy wrestling, fellas. I do. Was there anything on the draft that you were shocked in this version of on Raw? Anything that stood out to you? Pretty cool. The Uso was staying on SmackDown. Looked like Paul Heyman was a little bit fearful on that, but he seemed like he made that happen.
You just proved the point. Yeah. It seemed like he made that happen. Yeah.
He sure did. Just about as much as making Brock Lesnar a free agent.
Speaking of free agents, I'll bite on this one. Gable Steveson. I'm surprised that he's just being pushed right up to Raw, not even going into NXT to refine a character or do anything of that nature.
You know what else was sad? How they showed his picture. Everybody else had a polished picture. He had a picture from like his iPhone, and then they showed his parents, which was touching. But it was like we're not in the beginning of COVID where everything was on a Zoom call. You know, it just was kind of wondering like what happened to the quality.
The honest answer is we probably won't see him actually do anything. He's been drafted. He'll be in the performance center. He'll be hidden. We might see him just show up and cut something. But if they bring him straight on, I mean, even Kurt Angle had to have training and stuff. So, is he even done with his college eligibility?
No, he has. I believe he has a couple more events, which makes it even all the more risky. Because hypothetically speaking, if he just happens to lose in any of those events, then does that shoot holes into his credibility whatsoever? I think that's something that a lot of people actually need to think about if we're actually going to be adopting real world canon to things. If not, then that's not a big deal. And as Vince is so publicly stated, the WWE universe has a short memory. So hopefully they can prove him right yet again.
I don't remember him ever saying that.
I've read in several different places that was a comment. Yeah.
You just missed that one, brother.
I did, man.
You can tell that you caught it right when it got to this part. You're like, oh shit, it's already gone.
I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
How about Austin Theory?
Yeah, that was that was really interesting. I'm sure his parents are really proud, the Garganos. Their boy's gone off to college, off to the big leagues. And what does he freaking do? He wants to make his acknowledgement felt. I thought that was interesting. I'm not liking it because I don't want him being a fucking idiot. I don't like him fucking being an idiot. I don't want him being a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. My apologies.
How is that being an idiot? He's the one who got the fucking upper hand on the face.
I just want him. I want him.
It was brilliant.
Look, man, don't get mad at me because I went to McDonald's and wanted to get a number 5 instead of the number 2 everybody else wanted. I'm just saying, I would like Austin Theory to just be the badass, talented cat that he is. But hey, I get it. This is what they're booking him as, and I just have to shut the fuck up and deal with it, right?
Yeah. What I find number 2 should be your meal.
Hello. What I find interesting.
If I take number 2, then I'm eating shit. Sorry.
Obviously. Anyway, keep in mind, you made comment that, his mom and dad are extremely proud of him and, happy for him. So how better to celebrate than to remove any and all mentionings of NXT or WWE from your social media profiles, Johnny Gargano? Just saying.
Yep.
That contract comes up later this year, I think, early next year.
Sound like Johnny Wrestling's going to be making a move with the wife and new baby to AEW.
Elsewhere. Well, I don't
obviously. You don't think he'll go to AEW?
Of course, but
Dude,
here comes the talk. Here comes the talk.
Let's just say he's going to AEW, so Michaels gets upset. Come on, let's keep
out of the 117 people that have been cut by WWE over the last year, 13 of which have gone to AEW. So there's a stat for you. Thank you to Sean for sending me that in a direct message earlier this week. So yeah, I got to give him props. He was like, "Hey, you need to use this against Michaels this coming week." So thank you, Sean.
And I'll flip it right back. Bobby Fish is amazing in AEW.
Wow.
That's a guy who really needed that fucking job. Come on.
He needed a paycheck, man. He needed a paycheck to pay for his mini surgeries. You know how many doctor bills pile up when your knee blows out twice a year? Sorry about
man.
Fish. We love you.
Wow.
Well, was there anything else on Raw or SmackDown that caught you guys' attention this past week?
Yeah, the greatest fucking promo Paul Heyman could have done.
Yes.
Straight to the camera. Holy shit, that was fucking amazing.
And not just what he did in front of the camera, just how Roman was right there to the left and how he just continued to focus in on the two. It was masterful. Absolutely.
The camera shot was amazing. And that's your difference between AEW and
Yep.
WWE, to be honest.
I agree. I agree 1,000% with that. I mean, the cinematography was on point with that promo. That was obviously Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman. You know that he's going to give you gold, or at least damn near it, every time that he gets a mic in his hand. But the fact of the matter is that the way that they had the entire production set up, from the camera angle to them not changing the camera angle, to you getting the subtle clues and hints from Roman and from one of the Usos behind him. I forget which one it was. But yeah, I mean, they were both making faces and interacting with every sentence and almost every word that he said. So that made it feel like as if it was a much bigger deal than what it was. Not to downplay it whatsoever, but that just spot on. Best, probably the best thing on SmackDown this week.
I'd say the thing right behind that was fucking Seth making the challenge and then Edge coming out and that fucking Hell in a Cell announcement. Jesus Christ, that's going to be brutal.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Why did Seth hand them? He stole their picture, their photo.
Yeah, that's creepy as shit, man.
Brilliant. And so many people were so pissed about him breaking an entry in the house when that's been like one of the go-to things for fucking 25 years at WWE.
No shit.
And it was probably the best way it's ever been done.
It is true, because it wasn't over the top like they've done before in the past. I remember the Randy Orton and who was it that broke in their house? Damn it, I think he's done it twice, hasn't he? Has he done it twice?
Well, I think he might have done it 3 times, but that would have been on one of his failed drug test years.
That was good.
But yeah,
wow.
the picture, that was brilliant because no one has ever had a personal item from a house to give like that. It was just
right.
That was great.
Well, and also too, I mean, not to segue into NXT, but they kept the consistency across even into NXT, asking Beth Phoenix about the break-in and everything, which I thought was a good little bit of shine, at least for me. Maybe I was the only person, but I thought it was great, the consistency of keeping that storyline going.
Yeah, she doesn't say much. She just kind of like, Adam will take care of it.
Well, Adam will take care of business.
Continuity, man. Continuity.
Yeah. And he did take care of business on Friday night.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I think it was a good look for Raw and SmackDown this past week. So let's jump right into NXT and and give us what highlights that you enjoyed or didn't.
Well, you know what? I'm going to try something a little bit different. There's a lot to be said with NXT this week. I felt like overall, from 1 to 10, I gave it about a good 7, maybe 7.5. It was okay. It could have been better. It wasn't bad. But anyways, getting into that, a couple of the highlights, not counting the matches that I said. I'm going to start off first with one thing I really thought was official, and that was the Diamond Mine promo. That was legit. The breakdown with everybody. Really great job. Bivens, I think his name's Bivens, correct? Great job showcasing him. Not that he hasn't been, very vocal before, but I think this showcased really, I feel like his best that I've seen. Breaking that team down, they look solid, they look official. They're going to be tearing up shit. You're going to be seeing a lot of gold on that team, I believe. moving forward. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for. So I wanted to start off with that. Very impressed with that package. Another thing that I wanted to talk about too that was interesting is kind of the highlight on Ember Moon. Obviously, she had a match and lost that match. It was interesting. It was very interesting because I don't think in NXT have we ever seen her heel. Now, I know when she was on the main roster, she was somewhat of a heel, which is hard to believe with her because she doesn't do a good job, I feel. So I'm wondering, am I being honest when I say that? She's not very convincing. So I'm hoping this time around, if she does turn heel, and that looks like things may be going in that direction, that I think it might actually be, I hope she does a better job. Because
how the hell are you seeing heel when she went against the person they're building as the biggest heel right now in Mandy Rose? What the fuck are you watching?
Because she had a temper tantrum. If you'd watched the show, you know that they were asking her, how do you feel about it? She had a temper tantrum. I'm letting you know that it smells like she might be a heel.
It smells like you've been eating the number 2 again.
Well, you know what? I'd rather eat the number 2 than get a nice extra large size of number 1, extra yellow on it. Okay? A little bit harder to swallow that. Besides the point, moving along.
What the fuck was that?
You know what? Whatever, Michaels. Whatever. If it gives you glee in the world to micromanage everything I say, by all means, brother, keep going. But anyways, one good match that I will say that I saw, or actually 2 matches, is I did enjoy the Pete Dunne and Cameron Grimes match. I thought that was a really, really good match. I don't think we've seen those 2 before in a match per se, one-on-one. And it was very interesting. I also noticed 2 things when that match was going on. Number 1 is how Pete Dunne was really doing a good job with making Cameron look good. And that's not to say Cameron's not capable, but Pete Dunne did a lot in that match to really kind of sell that Cameron Grimes was on the level. And then I also noticed that the commentary was talking about the distinguishing now with all of these new young guys on here, who the veterans are and holding their spot. So I'm wondering if that's kind of what NXT is going to really start doing, which I kind of like that. I kind of like that whole thing. So if you've been a veteran, know that, hey, not so much that you'd be gone, but just kind of presenting that, like these young guys are hungry. I think they referred to them as young lions throughout the whole night. And I think that was Barrett that was saying that a lot. And I think that's a good terminology to phrase going into NXT, because the landscape we're presenting a lot of new people, and it'll just be interesting to see, these veterans better be on top of their game. What are you laughing at, Sensei Steve?
I think New Japan Pro Wrestling might have something to say about
they
using the phrase young lions repeatedly.
Yeah, they do actually say young lions. You're right. They have been saying that for years. So no, you're right. One good match that I really, really, really liked a lot. And it is the very last match, which was MSK, the Fatal 4-Way. It was really, really good. Like from start to finish for me. And as you guys know, I get excited for tag team wrestling. I like tag team wrestling. I wish there was more of it. NXT has done a decent job of having it. And like I said, MSK, as we know, went over, and then Imperium showed up. What I did find interesting, though, is how the crowd was thinking Imperium. So I wonder, is that the consensus of everybody? Is everybody tired of MSK? Is it because they weren't on so much, or what's the case? Or are they leaving? I don't know. I'm just curious. I know you guys probably have a lot to say about it because I don't zoom in on a lot of that stuff. What did you guys think of that?
I think AEW fans ruin everything for everyone, and that's what you saw there. Well, think about it. That's the fucking people who are at that arena, right? Are the fucking smart marks. And so that is exactly what was happening. Smart marks, they don't like MSK because they're flippy floppy.
Well, that's unfortunate.
And stoners. They don't like stoners either.
Now, I will tell you
Right.
one forgettable match of NXT that I felt was a big waste of my time, even though the person that went over, I like them, is Indy Hartwell and Mei Ying. I think they caught Bao in a segment, massaging Mei Ying's toes or something in a room or something. And he said, "Hey, get the hell out. What do you think?" I don't know what it is. I know I I accidentally opened the door. My parents were doing something in the room, and it was an embarrassing situation. That's what
Her
they were kind of
crusty ass
presenting in that.
1,000-year-old feet.
Yes. But that match was forgettable. It was, I was looking, I was like, what the fudge am I watching? Let's just get the hell over with this. But out of the whole thing, I will give my last opinion, and that's it. I am really, really feeling Mandy Rose. And I don't know if it's just because I'm not really into blondes and I really like brunettes, or is it the fact that she seemed really good against Ember Moon in the first match, but also too, I just like Toxic Attraction. They're growing on me. They really are growing on me. I like the fact that they're just these dirty, not dirty, but I don't give a shit. Like those, like I said before, they're the women that you bring home to mom, and mom's like, for real, you better not get her pregnant. And all three of them girls do that. I also thought about how Mandy's
you don't bring any of them home to mom.
I know you don't. That's what I'm saying. That's the
you just don't. No, you don't even make that mistake.
Well, I've made that mistake twice, so I'm just saying. Maybe that's why I like them so much. But I will say this:
possibly.
Mandy Rose, they put some seasoned salt on her, and she got some flavor now. Before she was bland, like chicken with no seasoning. Now she got some seasoning, and I'm enjoying seeing a little outfit she wearing. Her promos are a little bit more organic, and that knee is nice. The knee that she gave, that high knee that she gave to Ember Moon to finish the opening match, I felt looked good. Maybe it was the camera shot. But that's really much all I said with the highlights of NXT. I must have done a good job because Matt Michaels wasn't exhausted hearing me.
No, I am fucking exhausted because outside of one fucking thing, you did the whole show. So nice job on the recap there, Skipper.
You know what, Matt Michaels, because I know you love me talking so much, I'm going to start actually videotaping all the conversations I have and send it to you, man, so that you can have the whole day just to listen to me.
Oh, shit.
With love.
The one thing I forgot to mention on SmackDown, but it just hit me because they're from NXT, was the hit roll promo that they ran. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that on SmackDown, but that was done very well. I'm excited for these guys because I'm excited, and I mentioned this last time, but I'm also fearful because these guys, of course, are going to be on SmackDown, and I think that most people are definitely going to get it. But I just hope that they stay strong as they're staying strong now and carry on, because they're getting a huge build, and I think it's worth it. I'm loving it. I just don't know if they're going to be able to maintain it, and I'm hoping they do.
Well, when they drop the ball with Hit Row on the main roster, then you'll know how we've felt when they've dropped the ball with people that we've loved going to the main roster. Okay,
that's fair.
I don't have any faith that things are going to materialize well for them. Unfortunately,
can I be honest?
Well, and that's kind of, and see, hold that thought right there, Simon. Go. And I think part of it is I just don't. I think that act is absolutely great on NXT. I think it could be great on SmackDown, but I just don't know how far they would get it before executives will kind of be like, what the fuck? I think they could possibly have one of those type of moments.
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. They wouldn't be on SmackDown right now if the executives didn't go, we want that.
Exactly. And I was just going to say that, Michaels. That is the reason why they're up there, because they took the wrong team. They should have took Legado. Yeah, thank you. Legado. They should have took them. I'm just saying, out of NXT, as far as if you're looking for a faction, that would have been a lot better. But they did take that because a lot of these executives, they think, they rap or they drop bars, they do freestyles. That would be great. I don't think.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I know they chose them now, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
They see money.
But
they see money.
And it can be money, but at the same time, I think we did a 3-count topic last week. You weren't here for the show, and welcome back. I'm glad to see that you made it back safely and all. But part of the talk was that, and I want to say it was Top Dollar that had some conversation over Twitter saying, rewrite our own stuff, and they're going to continue to write their own stuff, which is great. I'm just, for somebody who just don't get it, as they continue to advance and they go, hey, let's take that to the next level. At what point do the execs go, okay, yeah, we liked it, but that right there is like, hold up, that's a little too much. That's all I'm saying. I'm just hoping it don't come down to that. That's what I'm saying.
Once again, it's so awesome that you're deciding to just freak out about something that hasn't even come to fruition because you haven't even seen them on the fucking show, essentially. So don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry. It's okay, man. It's okay.
This is an opinion-based show, and I'm just throwing an opinion out there. That's all I'm doing. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm hoping all goes well. I'm just saying, because listen, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And listen, if you haven't learned anything from wrestling, the one thing is enjoy what you're liking right now when you're seeing it, because when it's gone, it's gone. So enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Or else they should have brought up Carlos Delgado, as Simon said.
Okay. You know what's funny? I messed up one word and I got to hear about the rest of the show.
Sin City, take it off, man. What's going on with the AA dubs? Give us your highlights.
Take it off. Take it off.
Legato. Anyway, so AEW Dynamite, we'll start with that. And they continued the trend, starting off shows with solid matches. Dynamite kicked off with Danielson, Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus versus Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole. And what do you know? The upstart EVPs pick up the win in about 18 minutes. Now, who would have thought? Anyway, realistically, this match was pretty solid. I enjoyed, they went about 18 minutes. I enjoyed the entire thing. One thing that really stood out to me was, yes, the Elite picked up the win, but they definitely took some time and they built up Luchasaurus in this match. I think that he had the best showing out of everybody in the match, just what he was able to accomplish. They tended to make more of a spectacle out of everything he was doing. So hopefully they're, just continuing to build him because quite frankly, yes, he wears a dinosaur mask. Yes, I know it's the whole gimmick, but the dude is gifted in the ring, dude. He can do a lot of things that people his size cannot do. So
don't worry, when Gargano signs, he'll beat Luchasaurus after they built him up for 7 weeks, and it'll be the end of Luchasaurus. So we're all good.
No, that'll be Kevin Steen.
Very, very strong possibility.
That'll be Kevin Steen when he debuts night one. He'll show up and beat down Luchasaurus. Anyway, so from there, we have we'll talk about it. I mean, it was what it was. Sammy Guevara versus Bobby Fish, and out of everybody that has left WWE or has been shown the door, Bobby Fish is somebody that on the indies I was a big fan of Bobby Fish. Unfortunately, the injury bug hit him more during his tenure in WWE than it ever had. And I think that a fair amount of the WWE fans weren't really able to form as good of an opinion of Bobby Fish if they hadn't seen him work on the indies.
Well, and also Steve, he's also like our age now.
I was going to say, he's like 40. Yeah, he's 43. In his 40s.
He's like 44.
Yeah, he's 44 years old, I think. And so realistically, if nothing else, I see this being a short-term thing. Bring him in for a year, whatever. But ultimately, there are some things to where he can close out his career with people that he's great friends with. I mean, he was on the indies with a lot of these guys. So I don't see him being used as as a showcase talent. I think he's going to be enhancement talent, kind of a jobber to the stars, if you will. But as it should be, give him some wins on Dark and Dark Elevation, so that way when he does the job for people like he did for Sammy, that he has some credibility behind him.
Sin City Steve, before you go into that, I actually did watch Dynamite this week.
Oh, wow.
And I want you to answer a question for me because I saw the match.
Yep.
Fish, Sammy Guevara. Guevara got jumped, and I don't watch AEW. So I saw that Scorpio Sky has a whole bunch of friends. I think he had a dude that looked like Larry Bird. If he had gained some weight, he had a girl with some colored hair. Who are those people? Because I was trying to figure out who the hell they are because I don't watch AEW. I just know he showed up with some folks.
They are actually all people that could legit beat your ass. And
I'm sure a lot of people can.
But no, that is American Top Team, which is an MMA stable. Dan Lambert is the trainer, and he runs a gym in Florida and has trained numerous UFC champions of all weights, of all backgrounds, and it's really cool to see people like Jorge Masvidal, like Junior Dos Santos, who it was announced that next week on Dynamite, it's going to be Jericho, Hager, and Sammy Guevara against Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Junior Dos Santos, which is pretty interesting that they're just going to let, Junior Dos Santos get into the ring. And I don't know how much actual wrestling training the guy's gotten, but yeah, hopefully he pulls all of his punches and strikes. That's all I can say. Because
hey, if he doesn't pull out a fucking pizza cutter, Jericho will be happy.
No shit. So from there, we ended up going to the announcement of the AEW TBS Championship, which is going to be a secondary title for the women. And it you can call it what you will. On the men's side, you've got the TNT Championship, TBS Championship. Sure, what's next? The Cartoon Network Championship? Sure, why not? Fuck it. Maybe the CNN Championship. That's defended 24 hours a day because they're supposedly news 24 hours a day too. So fuck it. Why don't we just give everybody a fucking... No, but why don't we give everybody a fucking title? Use all of the Turner brands. Why not? Fuck it.
Because we live in a world where everybody should get a title for participation. It's sad.
But Steve,
okay.
But Steve, let's face it. Basically, all that title is doing is replacing the NWA women's title that they were using as the secondary feature. They don't have enough fucking women to have a fucking women's title, so whatever.
I fully agree. Yeah. But the fact of it is that they can now spotlight somebody else without having to use another federation or another promotions championship on their show. Which I know that's something that we got behind and we championed during the days when the pandemic was going crazy and everything was, in a state of flux, and all these companies were working together. But we even made mention of the fact that, hey, why is another promotions championship being defended on the show? But now, you're going to have a secondary championship that can be used to develop more women, which I think I know, Simon Street, you're a big fan of women's wrestling. And I can only imagine what your thoughts are on this new title.
I mean, I'm with you on that one, that, any opportunity is a good opportunity to be able to showcase. But the only thing that I wonder is one thing that I did like that AEW was doing was, kind of showcasing the NWA's women's title. So I wonder, are they still going to continue to do that? Because yeah, so that's the signal that's done. It's probably done before this. Okay, then it's still not bad. It was
a good way for them to bring Serena Deeb into their women's division, I believe,
and Thunder Rosa,
of course.
So let me ask you this question then.
Yeah,
what would it take for AEW to use that title to showcase maybe a lot of the women that they're developing on Dark?
I think you're going to start to see those championship defenses on Dark, not on Dark Elevation, but you can have the TBS title defended, even though, yes, I know it sounds weird, they're going to be defending a TBS championship on a YouTube show, but I think that title and the TNT championship, you could even get to a point where you're using one of the main event slot only in those shows for a title match. So this does give them more flexibility with that. Plus, let's call it what it is. They haven't necessarily been able to feature multiple women that aren't feuding with Britt Baker. Now this is going to allow them to showcase more women. So, and
the biggest factor is that the TBS title, the match starts 5 minutes after the bell.
Exactly. That's awesome.
You know what? You're exactly right, Sensei Steve. I think one thing that they could do, what I would like to see them do with TBS title, if they do take it over to Dark, is make that, instead of just showcasing somebody on the, well, she normally, let's just say for example, so and so from Dark is going to be making a debut on one of the other shows. And if they're the champion, it does give credence more for somebody to say, hey, let me go and look and see what they did on Dark. And because it's on YouTube, you can go back and see that. It's like, oh, that's their champion.
Yeah. And I had thrown out Serena Deeb's name. We'll go ahead and we'll jump right in and talk about this. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. I think that they actually did quite a bit of good with this match. You build it up almost, telegraphing that Shida was going to win this match. I mean, for fuck's sake, they even had the trophy, next to the ring, and already had Shida's name engraved on it. So they literally looking past Serena Deeb, and lo and behold, Serena Deeb picks up the win, making her tap out to a half crab. Very solid match too, by the way. Very solid match between the two of them. But yeah, I like the heel turn after the match as well. It's good that you're going to give the women's division another credible heel. I say credible because not everyone that plays on the heel side is going to be somebody that people fear. But now you've got Deeb in there. Obviously she broke the trophy over Shida's head after the match. So that feud is going to be continuing. We'll see where that goes from here. The main event of Dynamite was the casino ladder match, where the winner earns a future AEW world title shot. And this simply allowed them to book themselves out of the corner that they found themselves placed in when Hangman Adam Page had to skip out on the All Out main event because of the birth of his child. So first off, congratulations to Adam Page, and mom as well. I don't know her name. So congratulations to those guys on the birth of
a
their
baby
child.
with his mom.
Hey, country folks do things like that, man.
Stop, man. Oh, I don't know if it's his
drunk
wife.
was he?
I don't know. Stop, man. I don't know if let me make this shit right. Okay. So Adam Page and significant other had a child. There you go. Significant other had his child. Fuck.
I'm very happy for Adam Page having a child.
Yeah,
he seems like somebody that would be an excellent father. Seriously, like he, outside of the drinking and shit he does on the show, I think, no, he does. He has that sense about him. He really has that sense about him.
Well, he was a teacher before he signed the AEW contract. So, I mean, yeah, he's great around kids. So
should have stayed a teacher, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. The shit that comes out of your mouth. Every time you open your mouth, I'm just going to say number 2.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, anyway, just recapping the people that were in this match. You had Orange Cassidy, who came out with the fucking Philadelphia 76ers mascot. I do love how that was undermined by the commentary team saying, oh yeah, that's really going to make a difference in this match, which obviously it didn't. Then you had Pac, you had Matt Hardy, you had John Moxley, you had Lance Archer, and you had the Joker, who did end up being Hangman Adam Page. And as we've already mentioned, Hangman Adam Page did pick up the win. Dude, all that I have to say is the freaking the move that Hangman dropped I think it was Pac maybe
was.
off of the top through the table. Jesus God.
Yeah.
I literally I saw that and I was like, oh fuck.
Pat got a concussion.
Did he get a concussion from that?
Yeah. I saw somewhere that he did get a concussion, but it's one of those like let's just not.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dead eye is a crazy fucking move to begin with. And now when you're doing it from the top of a ladder and through a table, there are a lot of independent variables. So very, very solid match. Highly recommend, if you didn't happen to check out Dynamite, going back and checking out the opening match and the main event. The rest of the stuff on the show you can kind of watch as background noise.
Can we bring up one thing that I think was very, very well said this week by one Mr. James Cornette?
Sure.
And that was referring to Darby's his promo backstage with Jim Ross. Darby Allin was backstage with Jim Ross, spoke about the car accident he witnessed as a child, which saw his uncle pass away. Speaking of the Jim Cornette experience, Cornette slammed the promo as unexcited, even though the story Allin told was a compelling one. Quote, "This might be a great story, except listening to him tell it verbally or speak in any way is as exciting as watching gate hinge rust. Just sit there, watch the ring, watch the dew, watch the sun, watch the dark, watch the bird shit a year, and that hinge will rust. And it will take the same amount of time before Darby Allin verbally has any goddamn enthusiasm in his voice." That was true.
So the thing is, I always took him as his character is supposed to have a monotonous voice. Like he's supposed to speak in a monotone voice. So, I mean, I totally get Cornette's point. I get Cornette's point. It's stylistically, he doesn't like the guy cutting promos. He's actually talked about Darby Allin, his work in the ring previously, and he's said good things about his in-ring work. So for him to talk about the promo, yeah, that's eye-opening to me, but I can see his point. So then let's shift on over to AEW Rampage. So again, pretty decent opener. You had CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia. I thought that Punk did a pretty decent job of giving Garcia at least a decent amount of the match. Of course, you had to know CM Punk wasn't going to lose to Daniel Garcia, especially on a regular weekly TV show, especially when they're kicking off the show, and especially when it's Daniel Garcia.
You know how desperate they are for ratings? Punk does not show up on Dynamite. You just signed the biggest free agent in the world, and you put him on your B show. That doesn't do the ratings. That is unreal.
So I got a question because I don't watch AEW all the time, but I did this week watch Rampage. That whole segment with Mark Henry, is that a normal format that he does?
That is what he does.
Okay. How many weeks has he been doing that?
But since the first one.
How many have they had so far in the tank?
It's been like 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cringy. Sorry, Mark Henry, love you, man, but you're like, and let's go to the show. I thought he was going to tell us what restaurant to go to. I didn't know what Mark Henry was doing. Poor guy. Get him some lessons.
Well, so God bless Mark Henry. They brought him out and they hyped him up that he was going to do commentary on Rampage. And then they after the first episode, they realized that they quickly had to abort that mission and they had to find another role for him. I mean, this is what, where we are. And yeah, that's what he does now.
You know, the Hand is about 21 years old. They should do segments with Mark and the Hand, his son.
Pretty much. I mean, you already have Taz and his son on the show. Fuck it.
I think the Hand
Just
could
have him
beat
carry around the
Hook.
hand.
I was gonna say the hand could beat Hook.
Yeah.
Hand versus Hook. The best of three.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh man.
We'll call it a rock, paper, scissors match.
That's awesome. Elsewhere on the show, oh yeah, CM Punk picked up the win, 14 minutes in the match, like what we had briefly talked about. Lucha Bros versus the Acclaimed, and somehow the Acclaimed earned a World Tag Team title shot. Somehow. Wins and losses matter, right? So I guess. Anyway, Lucha Bros made quick work of them and
Sin City,
picked up the win in 6 minutes.
we kept the seat open and warm for you over here when you're ready to come back, sir. It's available.
Dude, so here's the thing is I'm always gonna keep it totally real. Like if AEW fucks something up, I'm damn sure gonna talk about it. If WWE fucks something up, I'm damn sure gonna talk about it.
No doubt.
So, you know, if I don't do that, then I have no credibility. So and realistically, I mean, yeah, this match was what it was. It was a time filler for all of 6 minutes. So there's that. And then elsewhere, the main event for your FTW championship. Like I said, everybody's got a fucking title. Philly Street Fight, Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks picks up the win over Brian Cage yet again, as Brian Cage is just being buried repeatedly. they just don't know how to use this guy. I don't know, man. Like he's not the most skilled on the mic, but he looks like $1 million. He can do a good amount of shit in the ring, and you're not using him to his fullest potential because evidently he can't talk on the mic. That's the only thing holding him back.
And 90 ex-WWE guys came in the time that he started, and he wasn't getting a push. He wasn't getting a push before any of them got there. Yeah, but you think about it though. I think this is very interesting. He came out with the start of the push. He did. But then
until he got beaten by Cody.
Right.
And then from there it was just downhill.
It went down because all these other guys were kind of slowly being integrated. And you look at I think Lance Archer is the best example. Lance was on the verge of being done, that was going to happen, and he was able to save himself. Brian, on the other hand, unfortunately, he was not able to save himself because of that factor. Honestly, I personally think cut him loose.
Yep.
Let him go over and try building him on NXT.
I was going to say, yeah, we'll see him beat Braun Breaker for the NXT championship in about a year.
Well, maybe
6 months.
The way things are going, he's going to be looked at as an old man, and
right. Fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other thing that really kind of stood out to me with this match is, okay, it's a street fight. Okay, it's an 11-minute match. Was I the only one that just thought that the commercial break in the middle of this match was almost like a 2-for-1? Like the commercial break seemed inordinately long, and it came in the middle of a main event of a street fight for a championship. Now, granted, it's not an official title, whatever, but that still doesn't change the fact that I think that this match's net result was actually hurt because of that commercial break in the middle. And regardless of what happens with Brian Cage, can he please be done with this Team Taz bullshit?
Yeah.
That's gone long in the tooth.
Do whatever you got to do. Put him with Archer. Make them a badass fucking tag team. I don't give a shit.
Call them the Bust 'em Up Brothers.
Something like that's the one thing, honestly, that I think AEW is really missing is just a monster tag team. So why not put Archer and Cage together. Call it a day.
And then FTR can lose to them too. That'd be great.
Stop.
Keeping that seat warm, man.
Hey, man.
Keeping that seat warm.
I'm perfectly fine where I am. You know what? I'll come over to your side, and I'll give you a toast.
Impact Wrestling.
I'll hang out, and that's it. But at the end of the day, no. Sorry.
Home is home, huh?
But
You know what?
I got you.
Even more importantly, remember one thing. Tony Khan comes up this week and he threw down that gauntlet against SmackDown, which is the fucking stupidest thing he could do with that fucking Rampage half an hour overlaps they're going to have. What a fucking shit show that's going to be for him.
And then I heard I don't know how true it is, but I heard it even got worse for Mr. TK because apparently the whole 30 minutes is going to be no commercials. Yeah. Yeah. I think Vince would talk to the executives and be like, no commercials. And they was like, that's fine. It's going to be a murder.
But you know what, Sin City Steve, for all of the little hiccups that AEW does have in general, the one thing that WWE probably doesn't want to admit is AEW does have a pretty good record of rectifying those mistakes. Now, they make a lot of fucking mistakes, but they have rectified them quite regularly.
Most of them.
Yeah.
There are still a few that are.
Yeah. Says the guy who just admitted he doesn't watch the show.
Well, just because I don't watch it doesn't mean that I don't look at other stuff, highlights and different mistakes, and reading other people's articles to talk about much of the same thing. I mean, come on, the lines connect.
And let's just call it what it is. I do a good enough job of recapping the show that Simon feels the need to not have to watch it.
Exactly. Except for this week, because I did watch it. Let me
just put myself over for a second there.
Hey, Sin City Steve, don't be telling people I'll be calling you during the week to find out what the fuck went on.
But yeah, that's AEW, man.
All right. Thank you for that, man. All right. Well, let's move over to Impact Wrestling. I won't hold you guys long. Bound for Glory, of course, is what it's all about. Just almost about a good 2 weeks away. It's going to be Saturday, the 23rd. Sam's Town here in Las Vegas. Bound for Glory. The card is shaping up to look really, really good. This past Thursday, they had another triple threat match. And remember, now that Josh Alexander has used his option C, giving up his X Division title, there now has to be some challenges for it. And it's going to be a triple threat match. Trey Miguel has already got himself in, but there was a match this past week with Steve Macklin, Petey Williams, and Black Taurus. And let me tell you guys, that right there was an awesome match. You don't get a chance to see Black Taurus wrestle that much. Normally time he come out with the K, but watching him just reminded me just how much of an incredible talent he is, and why I don't know why they don't use him a lot more. I'm sure it has something to do with age or something. I don't know too much of his background, but just watching him was great. And of course, the winner of that 3 was Steve Macklin. They really have something for Steve, apparently, since he's been made his debut. They've slowly been trying to build him up. So right now it's Trey Miguel and Steve Macklin, and we don't know who the next 3 that's going to battle coming up this Thursday. But we'll have our final card for who's going to be up for that title. So it's going to be great to see who gets that. Who made an intro this week? Mercedes Martinez. Y'all remember her? Well, she came on and made her presence known. Got into a tag match, 3-way tag match, and her team did win it. But apparently, I'll talk a little bit more what happened this weekend that made her shine even a little bit more. But she made her intro this past Thursday. Other things on the show, Christopher Daniels confronted Christian saying, "Hey, I told you there was another reason why I came back to Impact. And it's for that right there. Again, talking about the title. And I'm just like, fuck, man. I mean, guys, do this shit on your show. I just don't understand why you guys got to have all of this. This is why I'm going to be, listen, fanboy Josh Alexander is how I'm going to be that weekend. Please be the face of the company. Please end this shit because I'm tired of it. Okay. But now Christopher Daniels wants next. Apparently he's ready to take on Christian for it. So whatever. I could do without.
Question,
Impact, you
question,
sound
Impact.
upset.
I have to ask you.
Sure, man.
With everything that Christopher Daniels has accomplished in his career when he worked for TNA or Impact, whatever.
Sure.
Are you going to be pissed off when he wins their championship?
Listen, I'm not going to be pissed because I get it. I mean, it's the same thing why Christian has the belt right now. These are guys who have worked for the company before, so they're respected. I mean, other Impact fans they don't sound like they feel the way I feel because they cheer these guys. Unlike where Kenny was getting booed, and granted, he's supposed to be a heel, so he's supposed to get booed, but still, Christian. I mean, I'm not going to cheer for Christian when I see him. I get why he has it. And yes, Christopher Daniels, yes, been. I mean, this guy's been in the business forever and helped build TNA and Impact, and I get that. But again, dude, that's not where your check's coming from. I'm saying, why don't we
know that?
I'm pretty sure TK is just signing away. I'm pretty sure. And if not, they need to go ahead and make that known. Because it's still
those Impact checks might be cut from TK's his pile of money there. So
yeah. So anyway, we'll see where that goes. Outside of that, man, Dad, I mean, nothing really else worth mentioning on the show. I mean, believe it or not, they actually got an angle with Rhino, which I'm trying to figure out why. And they're doing it because Heath is come back, and Heath's best friend is Rhino. But still, I've never seen such a storyline surrounded around Rhino. So okay. But what happened this past weekend was the Knockouts Knockdown. It was another Impact Plus event circling around women's wrestling. They had a lot of different matches, but one of the matches was the winner gets a future Knockout Championship title, and who won that was Mercedes Martinez. So what happens if we get more Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo? Is that kind of like NXT again?
No, it wouldn't be NXT. It would definitely be Impact maintaining their lineage of always having strong female wrestling competitors. They have a long history of it. They were doing it before WWE really put in big stock into it, if you take it as far back as TNA days.
Well, I will tell you this. Now that she has a future shot, I think now going into Bound for Glory, I thought maybe Mickie James may possibly take that from her, but I'm going to have to say no. Deonna's going to hold that belt because it's got to be up against Mercedes, where Mercedes would probably finally be the one to take it. But I'm happy whichever way it goes. Again, Deonna Purrazzo is my Knockouts champion, and I'm very happy to have such a great women's champion on my side. Yes, Matt Michaels, deal with it. With that, though, I will tell you another event that also was announced is Turning Point. They're going to be back out here Saturday, November 20th, back at Sam's Town, guys. Impact Wrestling is loving Vegas. Is this whole kind of idea is finally about to happen? What they were looking to do before the pandemic took over? I don't know, but it's good to see that they are coming west, and I'm going to be a part of those shows. I hope all the locals here who love wrestling and who also support FSW, who also support the bigger shows when they come into town, come support Impact as well. Let's I watched this past week show in Nashville, and listen, the fans are supportive, man. They come out, but they were just so dead. There were just times that, I mean, through the whole show, everyone that come out, I mean, if you hear a pin drop, I'm like, guys, is it because you see them, you've seen them now for 6 weeks straight,
Or maybe
They're
it's
moving.
that rundown you just gave is pretty much the reaction that should have been for that.
Well, you know what? I definitely can understand that. But at the same time, I mean, you're there, you paid your money. Let's have a good time. Make a cheer, boo, make some chants, something. Just don't stand there like, oh, it's quiet.
So
I mean,
let me ask you a question.
What's up, man?
Let me ask you a question. So wasn't there like a rumor a while back? I think it was like either June or July. They were talking about Impact Wrestling potentially moving to Las Vegas. Is that anything that may still be in the works, or they were just talking about the tapings?
Listen, I'm no insider. I mean,
did you listen to what he was?
I did listen, but that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for confirmation.
listen, the only thing I said about that is the talks that they were having, which is what you're saying here. Maybe that has something to do with what's happening. I don't know. But it's just interesting to see that there are back-to-back pay-per-views that are coming here, and it looked like they're testing it out. Who knows? But I just want all of us to come and show out and just have a good time. Hey, one last thing on the knockouts knockdown they had this past Saturday. They also gave a shout out, or not just a shout out, but actually they gave a sort of a farewell to Awesome Kong as she retired, and they had sort of a presentation there for her at the ring. So I got a chance to kind of take a look at that, and it's pretty sad. I didn't get a chance to see a ton of her matches, but the ones I did see, they were exciting. And I thought actually when she had made that entrance into AEW, it was going to be something big for them. And, I guess that didn't really take off either. And I don't know the particulars. I don't know if she got injured. I don't know if she had another child. I don't know. I'm just saying when they made the introduction, I'm like, wow, I thought we was going to get her back into WWE. But nevertheless, I was a fan, and at least Impact gave her flowers as she made her retirement. And I thought that was awesome.
She's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh,
Impact Hall of Fame?
That is the Impact Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They're putting her in.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest with you, that's very fitting for her, because the matches that her and Gail Kim had when she first arrived in TNA were epic.
Oh, yeah.
Because they built up Kong strong in TNA. And I don't know if you got a chance to see that Impact, but man, she was talked about even amongst people in the WWE, because during that time, women's wrestling WWE didn't really have that going for them per se. And so Awesome Kong really broke through as like, wow, she's big, she's strong, she's a monster, she'll tear through every fucking body. So well deserving of her. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just moving over right quick to Ring of Honor, I'll just kind of mention some of the matches. Yeah. It's good stuff. It really is. This one they started off with from Shane Taylor Promotions, SOS, Soldiers of Savagery, went against Dalton Castle and Dak Draper. And that ended up being a really good match. SOS actually won that match, which I was pretty shocked. They are the 6-man tag team champions. After they won their match, of course, LFI comes down. That's, Kenny King. They came down, attacked them. But then SOS called their bluff out and said, hey, why don't you put your tag team titles up on the line, LFI? And it looked like they accepted. So next week, we're going to have SOS versus LFI for the tag team titles. And hey, if SOS pull that off, they're going to have 2 titles, the 6-man and the tag team. So maybe they're building them up. Let's see where that goes. Shane Taylor promotions. There was a women's championship contenders match. Angelina Love, Miranda Alizé, and Willow. And I guess if you're not familiar with all the names, you probably would have thought maybe Angelina Love was going to pull that off, or maybe even Miranda Alizé. But no, Willow actually pulled that one off, shockingly. So
Shockingly, she's good.
Oh, she is. But again, I'm just saying, you know, when you see who they threw her up against, I didn't think she was going to pull that off. The main event was the OGK, which is Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. They had a match with the world champion Bandito and Ray Horez. And they had a match that was really good, as always. Actually, the OGK pulled it off. Normally, most matches Bandito is in, doesn't matter if it's single or tag team, most of the time he pulls off winning. And I was shocking to see that he actually took the L for that. You know, of course, he's still the champion, so it doesn't matter, but very good match. So Ring of Honor is still doing what they do. You can catch them when you can. 1 hour show. They have three matches this week. I think next week they'll have only 2. So shout out to that. Let's move right into New Japan. Sin City, I know we got to be getting close to the finals of yeah, man. So tell us what's going on, and most importantly, how our boy Jeff Cobb's doing.
Well, our boy is still undefeated.
So
yeah. So A block current standings. Kota Ibushi is all alone with 12 points. Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, and Shingo Takagi have 10. Great-O-Khan, Tomohiro Ishii, and Toru Yano all have 8. Yujiro Takahashi and Tangaloa with 4. And again, Naito unfortunately had to withdraw because of injury.
Right.
Over in that B block, you've got Kazuchika Okada and our boy Jeff Cobb tied up with 12. Evil with 10. Hiroshi Tanahashi with 6. Sonata, Taichi, Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto all with 4. And then Tama Tonga and Chase Owens each with 2. So just this past week, it was actually on the 9th of October. The actual match result for Jeff Cobb, he defeated Sonata. So up next for him, he's got let's see here. What's up? You laughing?
Oh no, I'm actually looking at the comments. I'm sorry about that, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, no worries, brother.
Yeah.
So Jeff Cobb still has Evil, Okada, and Tanahashi left. So I think what they could actually do is they may have it come down to Okada versus Cobb, and the winner of that match goes to represent the B block in the finals.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd definitely be cool with it. And Cobb has looked really strong through all of his matches. Very, very solid tournament. As always, every year the G1 produces the highest quality of matches for any kind of an multi-event tournament or anything of that nature. It's just the best showcase for all of these guys. So if you can, New Japan World, njpwworld.com. It's less than $10 a month. Go there, check it out, and you can go back 15 years. Hell, you can watch all 30 of the previous G1 climaxes right there on that site as well. So njpwworld.com.
Awesome. Thank you much for that. Shout out to everyone that's been in the chat, and especially you, Jade, who says, I love hanging out with you guys. It reminds me I'm not crazy by myself. And you're correct about that, because we're all a little loco at times on this show.
Oh, Jade, you think you know me.
It's actually self-contained on this show. You should see him in real life.
Awesome.
Hey, don't you do it, okay? Don't you do it. And shout out to Chris. Chris been very active on here too. And thanks for hanging out. Hey, as we're getting ready to get close to the end of the show, I just wanted to mention Triple A apparently has Cain Velasquez coming back to pro wrestling. It says here that he officially knows when he will be making his professional wrestling return, and it will go down during a Triple A Lucha Libre event this December. And Triple A did not reveal the name of the event where he will wrestle or who his opponent will be, just that he will be making his debut in December. The announcement was made during the Heroes Immortal 14. So I'm just curious, guys. I mean, Cain coming back now. Is this a big deal or not really?
I thought, being the mayor of Knoxville, that Cain would not have the time to be a wrestler.
How about Mr. Velasquez? We'll go with that instead of the Cain you are.
Hopefully he's not injured like he was. What was it? Last time I saw him was Crown Jewel 2 years ago, or something like that. I was excited for him when he came to WWE, but because of that injury, it just wasn't good timing for him. So I actually might even try and tune in to watch that. Real talk.
Yeah, I said during COVID-19, he was released by WWE, but he still said he loved WWE. He was going to develop himself more. So that's kind of cool. That's a positive take to take on. Like, hey, maybe I'll get back in, but I gotta get it together. So shout out to him. We'll see where he'll be in December. Any other wrestling you guys want to mention? Okay, let's do it, Matt.
Oh yeah, we got a huge couple things. First off, let's start off with last night. What the hell is Jon Moxley fucking doing? $2 million man for AEW, wrestling backyard garbage bullshit with Nick Gage. Good for you. I'm so glad. I could hear Renee crying blocks away. Nice job, new dad. So he's the new GCW champion too. So this ain't going to be the last time he does this. This is why he left WWE, so he could do this bullshit. Good for you.
Is this supposed to
find yourself?
Is
At
this
least he
supposed
keeping
to
it real though. He keeping it real.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you. Is this supposed to gain you some sort of credibility within your fans?
It's called ring cred. That's the new. That's what's going to be called ring cred. Instead of street cred, it's ring cred. He wants to promote himself like that. He's going to be doing this shit.
So keep in mind, Jon Moxley really, really grew to being the cult status that he had, or the cult icon that he was, because of his time when he did these death matches before he got called up to WWE. Yep. So of course, he wrestled in CZW and barbed wire, broken glass, and all manner of things. I mean, like a fucking Sawzall, for instance, any manner of things. The guy, he's actually done interviews where he said that he's mentally sick. Like, he's a sick guy. So it's, hey, if he wants to do that shit, by all means, let him. The
only issue I could see here that I take issue with is one simple fact. If you're Tony Khan and you're signing these guys to these big contracts and you're allowing them to do this, when one of them either gets permanently injured or dies because you're allowing this, then you know what? You got to clean your fucking act up and start acting like a fucking actual, owner of a wrestling company, not a fucking narcissistic, I'm going to take down Vince McMahon bullshit. Watch out for your guys. And I putting Nick Gage on your show to carve up Jericho in the middle of the ring was bad enough, but to let Moxley go do a show where you're not even back there, I just think that is ridiculous. It is.
This actually wasn't his first time in GCW. Like, he actually beat Nick Gage for the championship at their last major event. So I don't know if he's working 3 matches or how long this shit's gonna go, but yeah, that's got to be in the back of TK's mind for sure.
Yeah, hopefully.
Is that like a thing? Are we calling Tony Khan TK now? Because that's cute.
Sure, why not? It is cute.
The next thing really big happened. MLW has a new world champion. Jacob Fatu lost the title to our very own Alexander Hammerstone. Hammerstone was phenomenal in this match. It was fucking amazing. Jim Cornette, once again, he made a comment about Jacob Fatu, which is very spot on. If you put Jacob Fatu on WWE programming or AEW programming or any programming with any people in any production value whatsoever, and you smash him for over 6 weeks or so, the people would be ready to buy anything he does. That is very true. And hopefully he makes his way to the family and becomes part of the table, because he is the cousin of Roman Reigns. And one good point that Cornette had about Hammerstone, he said he's a modern day Lex Luger. And that might not sound like a compliment, but it is, because we've mentioned Lex got it finally in 1989, 90, matches with Steamboat, matches with Flair. If you had that Lex Luger around today looking like that at that size and could work like that, he'd be a megastar. It's just the field was so much more crowded then, and Hammerstone has more personality than Lex did because he's not uncomfortable being himself and doing what he's doing. That's huge, because Hammerstone, if you don't know his history, go to the FSW network, watch some of the matches early on in his career. He has built himself into this. It has taken him years, and he's perfecting the art. And, he's close. He's on the verge now. He's going to get a lot of attention with this.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something that means a lot to him. So big congratulations. And finally, FSW this weekend had their high octane show, in which the big highlight was the tag team champions, Death Proof, Cutthroat Cody and Jacob Austin Young. They defended their tag team titles against the Unguided, Damian Drake and Matt Vandegrift. Unguided never lost their titles. They had to hand them over because of Damian Drake's injury a few months ago. This was their chance to gain those titles back. They ended up losing to Death Proof. So that was a big thing. And then Matt Vandegrift finally turned on Damian Drake. Damian Drake had been dragging him down this whole time. The guy couldn't defend his title. The guy just had to rehab and get better. And then when Matt's wrestling in the FSW ring, who shows up but his buddy Damian Drake to go in the ring and give him a big hug and steal his spotlight. That's finally finding his voice. And that boy has got something to say. And I can't wait till these two finally have it out, because it's going to be amazing. Sean, if you're still listening, I love you.
Oh man, I haven't seen him pop up for a second, but hopefully we got to get this over to him so he can respond appropriately. Oh man, good stuff. All right, well, I think that's it, guys. Do anyone want to mention the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight? Did you want to watch it? Anyone care to say anything?
We got knocked the fuck out.
Okay.
One huge thing, and this is very, very good point, and that is that Big E cut promos for both fighters on that show before they came out. And at the same time, Vince McMahon's champion was doing that. Tony Khan's ex-champion was bleeding in a match with Nick Cage. So, apples, oranges.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, City. You have
the relentless shade you throw, Matt Michaels, should be commended by a trophy befitting of your number 2 mouth, a toilet seat.
Oh my God.
At least I can take the number 1 down easy, unlike you, who apparently gags on that, but can take a number 2. Really?
I don't want
oh my
one
God.
two, brother. I don't want one two.
Thank you guys very much, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're watching us, we're going to be back in just a second. We're going to do 3 count. We got 3 good topics for you. But if not, if you're listening to us on our podcast, thank you for doing that. Continue to download, continue to tell others about us. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. All right. Until then, we will see you.